Tonight, we report on Rodrick, a man well acquainted with solitude. Sources confirm he spent years in quiet rooms, familiar with every sound and the persistent silence that followed. At age 69, Rodrick's daily routine consisted of work, marked by a steady pattern of meetings and paperwork. In the evenings, television served as his primary source of company, providing only brief distraction. The remainder of his time was spent in silence, a constant presence that became increasingly difficult to ignore. While not overtly unhappy, Rodrick experienced ongoing loneliness, described by acquaintances as a fog that obscured meaningful connection. Reports indicate he longed for conversation, laughter, and genuine recognition, craving to be seen for who he truly was. According to online records, Rodrick met Anita through a mutual acquaintance on a social platform, initiating contact in the vast digital landscape. Anita's profile featured a warm smile and a kind demeanor, which appeared to convey sincerity and goodwill. She claimed to be a nurse engaged in humanitarian work overseas, a stark contrast to Rodrick's quiet lifestyle. Rodrick initiated contact with a simple greeting, reportedly not expecting a response. Contrary to his expectations, Anita replied immediately, displaying friendliness and apparent interest. Their conversations quickly became a highlight in Rodrick's daily routine, providing a welcome change from monotony. Anita inquired about Rodrick's life, demonstrating a level of curiosity he reportedly had not encountered in years. She asked about his aspirations, including those he had set aside, believing them to be irrelevant. She also listened as he spoke of his late wife, whose memory remained significant in his life. Anita appeared empathetic, offering responses that Rodrick described as comforting and sincere. Her messages provided reassurance and understanding, which reportedly eased Rodrick's emotional pain. As a result, Rodrick began to feel hopeful again, describing this period as a turning point in his emotional state. He was observed smiling at his phone, reportedly uplifted by Anita's frequent and encouraging messages. Anita discussed the possibility of a shared future, mentioning dreams, adventures, and a life filled with happiness. These conversations reportedly brought new color to Rodrick's life, transforming his outlook and daily experience. Evidence suggests Rodrick developed strong feelings for Anita, becoming emotionally invested in the relationship. Ultimately, it appears Rodrick was drawn not only to Anita, but to the renewed sense of being valued and needed in someone else's life. Authorities report that Anita operated as a skilled manipulator. Her communications combined apparent affection with calculated vulnerability. She sent poems, photographs, and accounts of personal hardship, each message carefully constructed to gain Rodrick's trust. She described a troubled past, a fear of betrayal, and aspirations for a future with Rodrick. Rodrick soon became her confidant, protector, and supporter, according to reports. Anita discussed purchasing a house together, making travel plans, and building a shared future. For Rodrick, these statements were interpreted as genuine commitments. He regarded them as promises. Rodrick invested his emotions and hopes into a scenario later revealed to be orchestrated for exploitation. The initial monetary request was modest, presenting itself as a minor inconvenience in Rodrick's daily life. According to messages reviewed, Anita reported a broken laptop, describing it as essential for her professional duties and expressing frustration over the setback. Rodrick responded promptly, transferring funds to address the issue. Records indicate that Rodrick, acting as a supportive partner, sent several $100s without delay. He viewed this as a straightforward gesture of assistance. However, subsequent requests for financial help increased in frequency, with the reported crises escalating rapidly. Among the emergencies cited was a child's urgent medical situation requiring immediate and costly intervention. Additional appeals included unexpected customs fees, which threatened to delay important shipments. Legal complications also emerged, reportedly demanding swift action and further financial support. Each request was characterized by urgency and a strong appeal for immediate assistance. The narratives became increasingly dire, eliciting emotional responses and reinforcing Rodrick's commitment to help. Financial records show that Rodrick depleted his savings account, motivated by his trust in Anita. He subsequently acquired loans, accumulating debt in an ongoing effort to provide support. In total, Rodrick transferred over $200,000, a sum driven by his desire to assist. The funds were sent in multiple transactions over a period of months. Throughout this period, Rodrick maintained the belief that he was providing critical help to Anita during a series of escalating crises. He envisioned a shared future unaware of the underlying deception. He considered his financial contributions as investments in their life together. To acquaintances, Rodrick appeared unchanged, reserved and unremarkable in his daily interactions. Privately, he was managing a complex array of international emergencies, each demanding urgent attention and resources. He kept detailed records of every transaction, not out of suspicion, but as a matter of personal responsibility. Rodrick regarded these actions as prudent steps toward a secure and happy future with Anita. Despite his efforts, the requests for assistance persisted, creating a continuous cycle of need and response. Rodrick, influenced by his emotional investment and the promise of a future with Anita, accepted each new request without question. Immersed in the ongoing situation, he failed to recognize the improbability of the constant emergencies. Unbeknownst to him, Rodrick was ensnared in a sophisticated scheme designed to exploit his generosity and trust. The situation changed gradually for Rodrick. Subtle shifts in communication and minor inconsistencies began to appear. Trust eroded over time, not through a single event but through a series of small, accumulating doubts. Financial records show Rodrick's resources were depleted by ongoing requests, yet the demands continued. The resulting financial strain was significant, placing him under considerable pressure. Rodrick began to notice inconsistencies in Anita's stories. Details failed to align and discrepancies emerged. The narrative became fragmented, raising questions about its authenticity. Despite these warning signs, the requests for assistance persisted, intensifying the financial burden on Rodrick. Excuses for avoiding video calls became frequent. Anita cited technical issues and emergencies, consistently preventing any visual confirmation of her identity. This pattern of evasiveness became a clear warning sign, prompting increased suspicion. A friend intervened, advising Rodrick to conduct a reverse image search of Anita's photos as a means of verification. Initially reluctant, Rodrick eventually agreed, motivated by growing doubts and the need for clarity. The results were immediate and conclusive. The images used by Anita were traced to a German blogger, unrelated to the ongoing correspondence. Further investigation revealed that the photos had been used in multiple online scams. There was no evidence of a nurse or humanitarian mission. The entire narrative was determined to be a fabrication, constructed to manipulate and defraud. Each message and promise was designed to elicit emotional and financial investment from Rodrick. The exposure of the scam resulted in significant emotional distress. Rodrick's trust and financial security were severely compromised. The betrayal was comprehensive, affecting both his personal and financial well-being. Rodrick was left to process the aftermath alone, facing the consequences of a sophisticated online deception. In the aftermath of the scam, the consequences for Rodrick were immediate and severe. He lost his entire life savings, his home and his trust in others. Overwhelmed by shame and regret, Rodrick withdrew from social contact. At 59, he became homeless and faced significant challenges in rebuilding his life. The scam resulted in losses beyond finances. It deeply affected his emotional well-being. Despite the hardship, Rodrick found a new sense of purpose. He chose to publicly share his experience, aiming to warn others about similar scams. The future remains uncertain for Rodrick, but he is determined not to be defined solely as a victim. He now identifies as a survivor and is committed to raising awareness about those who exploit vulnerable individuals. Rodrick's story now serves as a warning and may help prevent others from falling victim to similar schemes.